Okay, so I wanted to make this brief video to kind of go over the first question that you had concerning basically what they call SEO or search engine optimization. Essentially, there are well over 70 search engines in the world. There are quite a few: Google, Bing, Ask, Yahoo, Dogpile. There's tons. Wolfram Alpha. There's a whole bunch of them out there, and each search engine has their own criteria. And all that's to say is that the way you are found, or the way any particular item is found on the net, is how it's ranked according to the search engine. So, with that said, having your name associated with your site, you can do that if you want, but it generally doesn't work that way. It's kind of weird, the way that you want to place this. So I'm going to give you an example. If we look up Michael Jordan, you're going to see that there's a profile of him on here. There isn't necessarily a site for him. If there were a site, it might show up, but it's definitely not showing his products or anything here, such as he's associated with Hanes and especially his Air Jordan sneaker line. So you don't see any of that here because his name isn't associated with that, because even though his name is branded towards him, that particular sneaker line is not him. He is his own branding. So to further upon that example, if we look up Air Jordans, so Air Jordan or Air Jordan shoes even. So if we look up just Air Jordan, you see here that there's Jordan.com. It's its own site, and it does have within the description Jordan as a word. It's part of the keywords that are used there, and you will see that there may be something associated with his name further on down. But the site, the product, the content of the site, what it's actually about, is only Air Jordan, not Michael Jordan. So to compare that to your example, this particular site of yours, you have to think about the content and what keywords people would potentially use to find your site. Do you want them to just use your name, or do you want them to look up particular things such as African news or anything like that? The military news, anything. Do you want them to use those keywords to find you? Do you want them to just use your name? In most cases, like even from example for myself, if I was to put in my own name, let's see what I would find. There are tons of names on here, but in most cases you will see that they're associated with profiles that are either on like LinkedIn, or even like Facebook. So it really totally depends on how you want to do this. If you want to associate your name with your domain, it's kind of odd. It's not the way they do things. And trust me, my sites, my own personal sites, they're not. My name is associated with them, but it's not about my name. It's about the content. So none of my sites are showing up on here on the first or even probably the second page. Because if you were to look up what I do for my sites, my personal sites, it has nothing to do with my name. The keywords that are actually used in here would be quite different. So that's something you may want to think about before going into just using your name as something that will pop up for your site. It's not to say that we can't do that, but that's probably secondary. You want that to show up further down the list. You want the content of your site to be what people would look up. I hope that it helps explain that, and we'll just go from there. Thank you.